It's 1:30. 1:30 on the East Coast. It's 1:30 on the East Coast. It's 12:30 in Chicago. Who's in Chicago? It's 11:30 in Swedes time. Colorado. It's 10:30 for the Movians and Adam the Woo. 10:30. It's I don't know. What time is it in Hawaii? 9:30, 8:30, 7. I don't know. How are you, everybody? Welcome to Dave Hughes with the news. As promised, 1:30 Eastern time. Eastern time is the only time that matters. It's true. Let's see. So let's see. The UK would be they're 5 hours ahead, so it'd be 6:31 in London. Paris is an hour ahead, so 7:31 in Paris and the rest of Central Europe. So welcome one and all. Yeah, today I have to do a shout out to I am of largely English heritage. I have some Irish in me. I have some German, but mainly English. And England is battling Croatia for the final of the World Cup. So whoever wins that match this afternoon will go on to face France in the final of the World Cup. So if England wins, we'd have England versus France. We'd have we'd have the Channel Cup, the English Channel Cup. So that's kind of interesting. That might be interesting. It certainly would be better than, say, like, Uganda, or it would be like Uruguay versus Croatia. Like, who cares? But England and France, that would be an interesting World Cup finale over there in Russia. Ivanova there. Ivanova sitting on the lap of. Anyway, how are you all doing, everybody? Bubba, bubba, bubba. Bama, bama, bama. Bubba and Bama, Bubba and Bama, Bubba. Gus is here. Greg is here. Craig is here. Speak softly, but carry a big wrench. Mr. Jello. Mr. Jello. That's how Craig got rich. He bought lots of Jello stock. He said I should tie my beard up and then stop using my hands. I should do this to handcuff myself. So anyway, how are you doing? The Normans versus the Saxons all over again. Oh, how are you? Everybody's doing good, I hope. Got some interesting news stories. We got a new Supreme Court judge that's been nominated, and it looks like it's going to be a at the same area. Yeah, what's his name? Kavanaugh? I forget his name. Doesn't really matter what his name is. Whatever the guy's name is. Brent Kavanaugh. Anyway, he is going to, he's actually a local guy for the Washington area. He is from Bethesda, Maryland. So he's actually a local guy, which is kind of interesting, I honestly didn't think there were any conservatives in the D.C. area. I thought everybody in D.C. area is pretty liberal. Hi, Alex. Hi, Sunny Girl. How are you all doing? Hi, Stephen. Jay. So anyway, we're going to do a little chat here today. I'm trying to do several regularly scheduled chats. So I do my Saturdays on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, and that's where we talk about the bottom of YouTube. And then I also do this chat here, which is on Wednesdays at 1:30 p.m., where I talk about just news stuff, okay? What's going on in the crazy world around us? Sad news from the New York Times today. A bulldog has died. Look at this. Zsa, the English bulldog, whose droopy tongue, protruding teeth, and penchant for Slim Jims earned her fleeting moments of fame last month as the winner of the world's ugliest dog contest, has died. She was 9. Oh. So Zsa Zsa, one of the world's ugliest dog, winner of the world's ugliest dog contest, has died at 9. Apparently, she did some sort. She was featured in an ad for Slim Jims, and her owner says that she liked to eat Slim Jims, and she also liked burritos at Chipotle. I don't know. I've never thought of feeding a dog burritos at Chipotle. Hi, Lady Redskins, Linda Lady Redskins Burton. Good afternoon. Here's the news. It's 101 degrees in South Carolina. Holy cow. We just had a cold front come through this morning, actually. It didn't have any rain in it. DC area is quite a nice day. It's probably upper 80s today. It's not super humid. It's actually a very nice day. We've actually had some nice summer weather the last week or so. It was hot, and then it kind of got super pleasant. So we've actually, it's not a lot of rain. Things are drying up pretty quickly, but it's kind of back to it's kind of normal normal DC area summer weather. I gotta say something. Here's some news, at least on a personal level. A good friend of mine is in the hospital. I just talked to her, and she tells me that she was swimming. She has friends, and they were down at a place called Colonial Beach, which is down the Potomac River, down near Fredericksburg on the way to the Chesapeake Bay. They were down there over 4th of July, and they all went swimming. They have a boat, and they jumped off the boat, and it was a shallow area, and they went kind of, not really swimming, but wading, kind of, the water was a couple feet deep, and it was technically the Potomac River, although the Potomac River down there is a tidal area. Technically, did you know this? The Potomac River is an estuary all the way up to Georgetown. South of Georgetown, then all the way up to the Chesapeake Bay, it's an estuary, which means it's tidal. It doesn't flow in one direction like a traditional river. It's tidal. It goes up and down with the tides. It's actually an arm of the Chesapeake Bay. Did you know that? Did you know that? And where you are in DC, when you look out at the Potomac down there by the mall, that's actually not a river. It's an estuary. But never mind. So anyway, what happens in the summertime when it's really hot is that bacteria form, hideously horrible bacteria form, and she has a drug-resistant case of E. coli bacteria that she got from the river. And I don't know how she got it. They were splashing around. Maybe she got some water in her mouth or something. So she's in a local hospital here getting intravenous treatment. And they said this E. coli is very dangerous, and it's resistant to almost every drug. But there are 1 or 2 drugs they still try on it. So she's kind of upset about that. And it's just a warning to folks in the summertime when it gets really hot. Be careful about going into places that have standing water, lakes, bays, estuaries, because there's a lot of nasty stuff that can grow in there from that heat. Hi, Christine. Hi, Stephen. Hi, Carl. Hi, Mr. Breeze. Mr. Breeze. The Bullet. Remember the Washington Bullets? They're now the Wizards. They used to be the Baltimore Bullets, and they moved down to Washington, became the Washington Bullets, and then they became the Washington Wizards. Didn't know about the Potomac. Sorry to hear about your friend. Thanks for the warning. Yeah, just be careful. If you're especially in an area with very hot temperatures in the 90s, and this happens every summer, it's not only this year and all that, but be very careful about going in water. If you're in a pool, that's one thing because it's chlorinated. It's probably fine. But if you're in like a bay, a lake, a pond, standing water that gets very hot, it becomes a cauldron for some nasty stuff and various bacteria. There's a brain-wasting amoeba. I was reading about that. I don't think this person I know has brain-wasting amoeba, but there's a brain-wasting amoeba that you can, if you get water in your nose and it gets up in your head, you can actually die from that. And it happens. They always have a couple people every year that were swimming in very hot ponds, like in the Northeast and stuff, that get really sick. And some of them do die. Mr. Breeze, I am the germ. Yeah, the germ is nasty. Real germs are nasty, our good buddy there up there in Hyde Park likes to call himself the germ, but a real germ is nasty. Where's my son today? Yeah, where is he? Selling cars. And I don't know. Is he on vacation yet? Uh, he was supposed to be going on vacation down to Disney with his girlfriend. I don't know. Are they gone yet? Buck bathing, not good. Too many nooks and crannies in the nude body. Well, it's kind of hard to, even if you have clothes on, even if you have a bathing suit on, it's kind of hard, unless you're wearing a wetsuit, it's kind of hard to keep your body dry when you're, kind of frolicking in the warm summer wet water. But anyway, that's something to war that. Oh my word. Anyway, what's I got here? What do we got here? According to ABC News, a 14-year-old boy in North Carolina was fighting for his life after catching an infection while swimming in a lake. The lake was caused by a common bacteria found in lakes. It's found in the boy's nose, or an open wound. If you have an open, be very, very careful. The bacteria was cyanobacteria, New Hampshire's lakes. I noticed they have some lakes in the DC area. They will put signs, toxic bacteria has been found. MRSA, MRSA has been found. So be very, very careful this summer, especially if you're in a hot area, especially hot water. Try not to get water in your mouth. Take a shower after you're done. Don't go swimming if you have open wounds or cuts. Don't let your dog go swimming. Dogs can also get the bacteria. Everybody's safe here. One of the things Dave wants to do is to water. The tides are coming in and out. There's waves. I don't think there's a problem. I mean, I remember going to the warm water in the ocean over the summer. Nothing ever bad happened to me except for jellyfish. Yeah, I got stung by a bunch of jellyfish once, but yeah, be very careful. Freshwater lakes, ponds that are still water. In hot areas, be very careful with that. Okay, you might just want to avoid them. That's PSA from Dave. But anyway, my friend is in the hospital, and we're pulling for her to get better. So they've got a pick line in, and they're giving her a lot of anti whatever they call it, whatever they give you. But yeah, her doctor said that they see 2 or 3 people a week that come into the ER with various bacterial infections from swimming in hot, fresh water during the summer. Yeah, the Columbia River. Yeah, a river that moves real fast with cold water. You're probably okay. But yeah, do not standing water, still water, dangerous, especially when it gets hot. Hi, Alex, the beer master. Princess Bubbles. Yeah, I unblocked you, so be careful. Pam on the lamb. Ocean bays get bacteria. Oh yeah. Anyway, we had that news. The news I wanted to talk about today is my kind of lead story is a lot of restaurants now here in the DC area, especially those trendy ones for millennials in DC, they're actually banning cash. They have signs up, you can't spend cash here. So if you want your whatever, you have to you put it on a credit card, debit card, or you have to have the app on the phone, okay? There are actually a number of restaurants that do not take cash. And the reason they do not take cash, I guess because of crime, they can be robbed of burglars or robbers can come and steal the cash, employees can steal the cash. They have to have armored trucks come to take the cash away. There's a lot of trouble with cash. So there a lot of places are saying now no cash. Now it used to be some restaurants would say no credit cards because they didn't have to pay the credit card fees. But apparently the credit card companies are now trying to get more and more restaurants to go cashless. And a lot of people are screaming bloody murder because a lot of poor people, a lot of people with financial problems may not have bank accounts, they may not have credit cards, and they spend money. A lot of frugal people wisely, spend cash instead of credit cards because credit cards have fees on them and interest and all that other stuff. So they're talking about in places like DC passing a law saying that cash is good. Cash is legal tender, and you cannot ban people from spending cash at a restaurant or at another store or something. It's so anyway, it's kind of cool, kind of cool. Hi, Ron Buckley. How are you doing? You still over there in the Mid East? Yeah. What about credit card skimmers? Yeah, I know, I know, and I hate that they always say it's not like when you go to fast food, you just put the little card in the chip reader thing and it pops back out. But in a restaurant, a sit down restaurant, they give you the little plastic thingy with your bill on it, and you put the card there, and then they take your card away and do something to it in the back room, and who knows what they're doing to it. They're writing down the number, they're putting it through a skimmer. That happens not all that uncommonly. Whereas the card is now out of your sight for 5 minutes or so, and who knows what they're doing with it. And then all of a sudden, yeah, a week or two later, you start getting mysterious charges on it. I don't like that. That's weird. You're more likely to get your credit card number stolen. Yeah, exactly, exactly. So anyway, so that's a big thing now. A number of states are a number of localities are passing laws saying that you can't. I agree. Cash is it's currency. It can to ban cash from a store or a restaurant is wrong. They can say we prefer credit cards. They can maybe I don't know. It used to be, remember gas stations, they wanted cash, right? You would get some gas stations used to give you a cash discount. If it was $2.39, the price with cash would be $2.35. Some stations still do that, although I don't see too many around here doing that. I think the credit card companies got on their case because the credit card companies like MasterCard and Visa are very powerful, and they don't want people discriminated against because they use their cards. So a lot of businesses have been pressured into having the same price for gasoline, whether you pay credit card or with cash. But cash is king, definitely. So anyway, that's kind of an interesting little story going on here. Dave, do have some pizza mukbangs. It also gives employees control over the tips so they can screw their employers out of their earned money. I remember when I was in college, I worked at a local hotel. I drove the van out to Dulles Airport. I brought customers, clients in with their bags, and they paid, they gave me tips in cash. And there were some nights, where we had a huge bunch of people coming in, and I would have literally $150 and $1 bills in my pockets. And then you're supposed to declare that to your employer. Nobody ever did. You're never going to tell your employer exactly how much. If you do that kind of, because you're supposed to make the minimum wage, and the employer might only pay you like $3 an hour, and then you're supposed to use your tip money to fill that out. And anyway, and you were supposed to sign this declaration form every pay period that swore that you got at least the amount of tips. You had to write down the amount of tips you got, but if you got way over the amount that was the minimum, nobody ever declared that, because then the IRS would Third, cash sales cannot be tracked by data miners. That's exactly right. Exactly right. That's another thing too. If you spend cash, no one knows who you are. You go into Walmart, you buy hemorrhoid cream, you you buy a tube of hemorrhoid cream at the Walmart and you pay cash for it. No one knows you bought it. But if you put it on a credit card, yep, there's some record in some sort of system what you're buying. And that's another reason why a lot of stores like to use the various cards, the affinity cards. You go into Panera and you have to have a Panera card. Right? All these stores do that now. All the grocery stores do that. You have a special card, and that's so they can track what you're buying and keep an eye on it, and they know what you're buying. I don't know. I think that's kind of weird. I've noticed that the ABC stores here in Virginia, the Alcoholic Beverage Control Board, they're state-run stores, and I totally get it. They want to card you, right? They don't card me anymore. I don't know why. I never get carded anymore. But if you don't look 21, if you're in your 30s, even some women sometimes they get carded in their 40s, and I have no problem with carding somebody. But what they also do now, I notice, is when they take your license, they run it through a scanner, because there's a barcode on your license, and I guess they make some sort of a record of that, or maybe they're checking for fraudulent licenses, because sometimes people do that. But I always thought that was a little creepy. Like, you're buying a bottle of vodka, and you're in your 40s, and they're taking your license. They're not just looking at the license; they're scanning it, and it's going into some sort of a database. Yeah, that's a little weird. I worked as a sky cap at Dulles one summer. Really, Ron? Wow. Maybe we ran into each other. I was driving the van there for one of the local hotels. Maybe we passed each other. You were doing you were standing there loading the bags out. Maybe you loaded some bags out of the van I was driving. This was I don't know. Yeah, you're a little younger than I am. This was the late 70s. This was like 77, 78, 79. But I did that for 3 summers there. I had a good time. I enjoyed it. There were quite a lot of celebrities that came into our hotel because we were near Wolf Trap, which is the big national park for the performing arts. And I met quite a few people like Tony Bennett and stuff like that. So yeah, that was cool. When will humans have microchips implanted? That's already happening. It's already there are some employers that put a little microchip in you. Yeah, it's already starting to happen. Preparation H cream to calm your hues flare-ups. What? I'm telling you though, people worried about their wrinkles, they also often say put the hemorrhoid cream on your face because it tightens up your face. It's kind of like, temporary Botox. Mid-80s for you at Dulles. Okay, yeah, you're a young. That's right. You're about 10 years younger than I, Ron. So, hey Dave, when are you visiting New Jersey? I don't know. I don't know when I'm going to be up in New Jersey next. I have no idea. I want to get to Delaware sometime soon, and I do want to take this ferry over to Cape May. I definitely want to do that, but I don't have any specific plans at that button. Smash the thumbs down button. What are you saying, Craig? That's not nice. Anyway, so the Star Bulldog has died. Zsa Zsa. She was in Slim Jim's ad. She has passed away at only 9. We got a new Supreme Court justice, and that whole thing is going to be a crazy thing to see the hearings on that and everything else. So that's going to be fun. What's cash? Wonders Kentucky Ranger. Those Kentucky dollars. Dave, are you looking for suggestions for new channels? Yes, always, Brian. I please do this for me. Make it easy for me. If you have a suggestion for a new channel for me to watch for my YouTube stuff, send it to camodave@gmx.com. One word, camodave@gmx.com. Send me the link. Send me the name of the channel, because I'm trying to get all of my YouTube junk sent to that address because it's all in one place and I can zip through and review everything. Right now, I've got about 4 or 5 email addresses, and messages go, all over. I have a Yahoo one, I have a Hotmail one, I have a Gmail one, and I often miss things, and they all get sent to weird little junk things and everything. So send everything to the camodave@gmx.com, and I'm trying to get to the point where I'm reviewing a new channel every day, at least new to me. Bama Mike, I agree. I use my credit card at restaurants, but I always write a big fat 0 on the tip with a giant line, and sometimes I write cash on the table. Oh yeah. Yeah, I do that too. You're right. Put a big squiggly line there, and make sure that no one can write a number in there later. Dave accepts Confederate money. Cash is paper, just paper. But anyway, yeah, I think I think it's okay for a restaurant to say we prefer. We would honestly like you to pay with with your card or a phone app. That's totally fine to request that, but to say no cash, period. No, I think I think that cash is legal tender, and if it's legal tender, they should take it. They should take it. 30% tip is my standards. Wow, I don't tip 30%. I do the 15 to 20. I like these restaurants where you go in and you go up to you just walk up to the counter, you order your food, and then you go sit down, and then they'll call your number or something, and you go up and pick up your meal. And a lot of times when you pay, they'll want you to put a tip down. And like, why am I tipping? I'm doing the work. I'm bringing my food to my table. You're not bringing it to me. Why should I tip for that? I don't know. I always find that kind of weird. Oh, and, you have to unhook it. $13, Sunny girl. Thank you. Dang, super chat super chat takes 30%. Really appreciate it, Sunny girl. That is very nice. You are so generous. Thank you so much. What else is going on? So we got the big semifinal there for the World Cup today. England should be starting any moment now. Don't leave. Don't leave. The game won't really be getting into anything till after my chat is over today. But England versus Croatia. So if England wins, then we have England and France for the final of the World Cup, which will be cool. I might even watch that. Just put $21 bills on the table at the beginning of the meal and tell them you'll add or subtract from the total depending on the service. They have a restaurant here called the Silver Diner. It's a chain, and they're usually very good. But I've had a couple times where I go in there and the service is just rotten. There was one time I went in there and I think it was some new waitress or something. And she totally forgot about me. I was, just literally forgot about me. And I'm sitting there and I wrote on the check, I said, bad service, no tip. I did that. And the manager came right over to me and was very apologetic and gave me a coupon for a free meal. So, hey. I tip depending on the service, not the percentage. Exactly right. Yeah, that's a good way to do it too. Oh yeah. So anyway, I think it's always best. I don't know. I'm trying to get out of the habit of using my credit card or debit card for all these transactions, small transactions. They say it's I try to have a nice pile of cash in my wallet and just spend cash. And the fewer times I use the cards, the less times I think there's chances for fraud. And I've got my credit cards down. You always have the automatic billing crap, the car insurance, they want to hit your card. And I do that with about 6 or 7 or 8 different things, but I try to keep it limited to that. So, especially when you go into restaurants and stuff, I don't know, just use the card as fewest amount of times as possible per month, So many places add the ticket themselves and you have to pay that amount. Yeah. Oh yeah, I noticed that too. Increasing number of restaurants now will just add a tip and then you have to physically go in and change it, Poor waiters get paid crap, less the minimum wage, and make their living off of tips. That's very true. That's very true. And then you have they make all the waiters in some restaurants put all their tips in one big pile. And then you have the slouch waiters making the money, and I don't know. The restaurant business is really nasty. I don't know. I feel sorry for people. I don't know. I know some waiters and waitresses at some restaurants that do very well and are nice people, but it's a hard grind of a job. Then Craig said, "Please stop fidgeting with your beard." Don't fidget with your beard. Bubba Warbucks, I am a retired investor living on a small pension. Well, thank you, Bubba. Thank you so much again. Anyway, so what other news? We got a new Supreme Court justice coming along. Everybody's nervous. He's a local D.C. area, grew up in the Bethesda area. Oh, yeah, there's the Washington Post. What does it say? Kavanaugh's confirmation will be a high distinction for a school there in suburban Maryland. So that's cool. That's very cool. Oh my word. Anyway, what else do we have here? Oh, this is big news. Anybody remember World War II? Remember, there was a bad guy named Adolf Hitler over there in Germany, did some horrible stuff. One of the most awful people that have ever walked this planet. Well, his daughter just died. She's 88. There she is. Not his daughter, excuse me. He had a guy that worked for him named Himmler. Okay, Himmler was one of his henchmen, and Himmler had a daughter, and there she is there. Okay, anyway, she just died. She was 88. Gudrun, Gudrun, Gudrun Himmler. She did get married over the years and changed her name, but she always adored her father, and non-apologetic woman, and very controversial there in Germany. Anyway, she passed away just recently at the age of 88. So, daughter of Heinrich Himmler. I believe he took a cyanide pill, didn't he? When the Allies got to Berlin or whatever, he was trying to make a deal with them so that he wouldn't, have to face the hangman or whatever. And I think he took a cyanide pill. But that's a very good documentary on Mr. Himmler there at Netflix. How he by night he was like he had a daughter, he had a wife, he came home, but during the day he was a mastermind between that whole Nazi death machine. A really weird guy. That's his job during the day, was to design the death camps. And at night he came home and, was like an ordinary guy. Just, I don't know how someone could live like that. But his daughter has just passed away. So I don't think there's a lot of sadness about that, but, and again, can you blame a girl for what her dad did? I don't know, but anyway, she was 88. Isn't 88 the supremacist way to go? Heil Hitler 88, HH. That is interesting, right? H is the 8th letter, right? So Heil Hitler. You see that they all the DMVs, they have these. Virginia's a big state for personal plates, and people like to write these coded things. And a double 8, right? HH is the Nazi clue for Heil Hitler. HH 88. So you'll see some sort of what looks like gobbledygook on a personal license plate, and it says 88. That's right, and she died at 88. Woo! That is interesting there. Alex, that's very interesting. I didn't think of that. Himmler should have offered his family like Goebbels off his family. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Interesting. Did you know? I'm not a historian on this, but Hitler had I think a brother or some. Hitler had family members, and they came over to America. And they were anti-Nazis. They were over here. A whole bunch of his relatives came over and live on Long Island. In fact, there are Hitler relatives today living anonymously on Long Island. He has grandchildren and aunts and uncles and whatever that came over from Germany, and I believe he had a brother or some relatively close relation that came over and became an American and actually campaigned against Hitler. So it's kind of interesting. So they're, and of course they changed their name, What was that show? Hill Street Blues. Do you remember Hill Street Blues, that old show? There was somebody, I don't know, one of the cops in there was going to a nightclub, and there was a guy named Vic Hitler who is a comedian, and he was kind of saying, now see, now we mentioned Hitler in here, and now we've got the bots, and the bots are going to demonetize this. What do you bet? 10-1 that this chat gets demonetized, huh? Because, the bot heard Hitler. And that's not advertiser friendly. Well, what the heck? We're talking about the news here. And that's all we're going to do. We're going to talk about the news. So the news is the news, right? Oh, yeah. What other news is happening today, huh? Any other big news? The Washington Post pans Jerry Seinfeld's new season of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. Jerry started that out, it was kind of like an independent channel, and then he signed a deal with Netflix, and now he's doing the show for Netflix. And Jerry gets, he finds a celebrity, he's got Ellen DeGeneres here in the new season, and they're just saying it's not as funny as it used to be, and Jerry's kind of getting staid and stuffy, and anyway, so they kind of panned it. They really did pan it. I like to call this the Washington Post stale section. It's always kind of old-fashioned stale. Ugh. Ugh. In a car of comedians, a genre finally runs out of gas. Yeah, he did one of the episodes for the new season. There is Dave Chappelle, which was kind of a flat episode. I don't know. A lot of people like Dave Chappelle. I don't know. He's an interesting cat, but I'm not so sure I like all of his humor. I like Jerry Seinfeld. You know, the funny thing about, and I always liked the Seinfeld show, it wasn't because of Jerry that much. Jerry was kind of like the straight man at the center, and then he had all the crazy characters around him, you know, Elaine, you know, and Kramer, and a whole bunch of them, and George, and George's parents. I thought they were all funny. He was kind of like the center of the, you know, I never was a big, I watched some Seinfeld stand up and I'm just never quite impressed with it. The Nazis own YouTube? Oh my word, Mr. Breeze. I did not know that. Sunny Girl, age is a number. Some days I feel 25, other days I feel 85. Oh, I totally get you on that, you know. I think the worst thing is getting up in the middle of the night to pee. You know, I find that I can do some walking really well still, but that getting up for that first couple of steps sometimes is, especially at night, you know, when you've been laying down. Kentucky Ranger, I've never been into Seinfeld. I always liked Curb Your Enthusiasm much better. That was Larry David, who was one of the main masterminds behind Seinfeld show. I find Curb Your Enthusiasm to be 10 times funnier than Seinfeld, to be honest with you. Larry David, I think isn't he supposed to be doing another season of that for HBO? Oh, here's some interesting stuff. HBO, some media stuff. HBO is now no longer owned by Time Warner. Remember, Time Warner, for years, they owned CNN, HBO, a whole bunch of channels. They've now sold all that to AT&T. So AT&T, which is based in Dallas, of all places, now owns CNN and Time Warner and all the Time Warner networks like HBO. And the New York Times had an interesting article the other day about how they're going to be making changes. Apparently, AT&T is not happy that HBO is only seen in like 35 to 40% of American households. It's a paid channel, right? You got to pay like $10, $15 a month for it. They want to get it into more households. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they make changes in HBO. You know, HBO has always tended to be a very liberal channel, leans very heavily to the left. So it's going to be interesting to see how they make that channel more mainstream and see, you know, if they're going to want more and more people to watch it, they're going to have to not charge $10 to $15 a month for it. That's what I think. I wish my age number was not so high, but I guess it's better than the alternative. Patty Gadberry. How you doing, Patty? Yeah, you know, I mean, you know, it's, you know, if you're 60, at least you're alive, right? You know, you're alive, and whatever age you are. Space, the final frontier. Who's here? Let's see. SKG, how are you doing? I hear that Black Biggot's having some troubles with his new van, huh? Oh, my word. Again, we'll talk about that on Saturday, because that's the YouTube day. But that will definitely be one of our topics. A&A RV Travels. It'll be, oh yeah, right. They could very well do that. In fact, a lot of cell phone plans today include Netflix. So yeah, you know, everybody with AT&T, an AT&T plan will get free HBO. That's definitely a possibility, and they are one of the biggest cell phone providers out there. So that's certainly a way of getting more HBO out there. HBO still shows Sensuous Nurse. I'll still be crawling in here at 90 to hear what Dave has to say. Thank you, Sonny. Yeah, Disney, it's just weird. You know, there are all these channels, but it's a Comcast and Disney. They're all bidding for the assets of Fox. Rupert Murdoch, who owns Fox, he's kind of, Rupert Murdoch is going to keep the Fox broadcast network and the Fox News channel. Okay, those he's holding on to. But everything else that Fox owns, including the 20th century, 21st century Fox studios, the movies, that's all getting sold. The Fox sports networks are all getting sold. So, Disney wants them, Comcast wants them, and Disney already owns ABC, and Comcast already owns NBC. So I don't know. You're going to have NBC or ABC owning all these Fox. And it's a mess. It's a giant mess. Blind views. 3 companies own everything, but there are no monopolies. That's very true. It's very true. Radio business. What do you have? Like, iHeart, which used to be Clear Channel, and Cumulus, and a couple other, 3 or 4 of the companies own like 95% of the radio stations. There are a lot of companies that own radio stations, but they're all like little stations out in the Midwest that nobody knows about. But if you look at the major stations in LA, New York, Chicago, Washington, Detroit, Dallas, Miami, Atlanta, 3/4 of the stations are owned by 3 companies. Here in Washington, I did an analysis. There's 5 FM signals that get 48% of the listening audience, owned by one company, iHeart. Okay? So iHeartRadio they basically have 48% of the market that they own. One company in a big market like this. That's not right. That's not right. Zepp is up for sale. Zero Effort Productions. Who wants to buy it? Hello, ladies. Hello, lady. And hello, gents. You got Line Screwball here. He's our Canadian reporter. So any Canadian news, any of the latest developments where all these American RVers are going to Canada and get to Alaska, Justin Trudeau, any news about him? I'll tell you everything I know about it. All right, Mr. Lynch. And I promised Crotchy. Crotchy's got to say hello. Hi, everybody. Crotchy here. I just wanted to say hello. We did a little Barker video a while ago, and I was like, I'm here. So anybody want to ask me a question, go ahead and do it. So anyway, I'm here, but I'm kind of snoozing in the background with Mr. Screwball, Mr. Line Screwball. Ha 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 ha. Oh, I'll tell you something. I want to do a shout out to Bruce Bunger. This guy, I just adore him. It is weird to have this puppet around, and I never thought it would kind of play out this far. I thought when Bruce said he was going to make me a puppet, I'd have it on for 2 or 3 episodes and then put it in a box and forget about it. But I like this little guy. I don't know. It's like my alter ego. I can say things. Oh yeah, I can say things as Crotchy that I couldn't say as Dave. And I like having that. So Bruce, yeah, I have to appreciate it. Hey, Blind Views finally woke up, huh? Don't forget. Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Thirsty Thursdays with Blind Views and sometimes the Unibasist. We have one local company here in the Raleigh-Durham market that owns 2 television stations and 5 radio stations, but there are no monopolies. Well, yeah, there aren't monopolies. You don't have any markets where one company owns everything. But there are a lot of places where 2 companies own 80 to 90% of whatever's there. That happens, and that's not good. That's not good. There are companies, it's like Sinclair. Sinclair is a company here in the Baltimore area. They're one of the largest owners of television stations in the country now, but they have a bunch of shell companies. And the guy that runs Sinclair is a guy named David Smith. And he has, his aunts and uncles and brothers and sisters, and they all have shell companies. There's a company called Cunningham, and there's something else, and his friends and relatives own other companies, and then they own stations. So you will have a small market like Des Moines. I'm just using that name as I don't know about Des Moines specifically, but Sinclair will own two stations, and Cunningham will own two stations, and then some other company will own two stations. And but he controls those other companies. So all six stations are controlled by one company in a market that may only have eight stations in it. It's a shell game, and the Federal Communications Commission has let this happen, and it's a shame. It's a shame. In a market like a smallish market where you should have a bunch of different voices, you don't because of this corruption. The Federal Communications Commission, one of the C's stands for corrupt. I have always argued that I always think the FCC, it's not just the FCC, it's a lot of those government regulated groups. They're all, all the people that run them are from the industry, and they're all just patting each other on the back. It's very corrupt. Government regulation stuff is corrupt all over the place. It's nasty. You have these organizations that are supposed to be watching over businesses that are being run by, staffed by the folks from the businesses. It's like having burglars being cops. The police department is being staffed by folks that used to do burglaries, and they kind of wink wink. It's the same kind of thing. It's government regulation is totally screwed up. It just is, Bubba Warbucks, NBC and Fox TV, and 3 different sports radio stations and 2 music boxes. Now, the other thing you got to realize, it's just because it's an NBC and a Fox station doesn't mean those are owned by any networks. They could be affiliates, and Sinclair will do that. Sinclair can own the Fox station and the ABC station in a certain market. That doesn't mean that those stations are owned by Fox or ABC. Some of them are, but many of them aren't. Whole Foods. Yeah, Jeffrey Bezos. Mr. Bezos, I'm trying to figure him out. He wants to own everything. He owns everything, right? Amazon's going to get into prescription drugs. They're going to get into, and they already are into the food business now with Whole Foods, and they're into, they're into they're starting to get into like ride sharing and delivery services. And then they, I don't know, man. It's like they want to own everything. Yeah. Why do they want to control everything? Yeah. Yeah, Amazon. Yeah, now the whole thing with Whole Foods now is they have a thing where if you have a Prime membership, you pay, what do you pay, 100 some bucks for your Prime membership, which gets you that free delivery, gets you access to that, bunch of, all the channels they have on there. Now you can also get discounts at Whole Foods, but the prices are already astoundingly high. I was going to buy a loaf of bread in there the other day, and it's like $5-6. A container of fruit juice is like same thing, $5 or $6. They have a wonderful salad bar, but it's like $9.99 a pound. Oh my word! People call it whole paycheck foods because you spend your whole paycheck. You buy a little pile of food and it's $70. I don't know, exactly right. Whole paycheck. Hello, Alexis. Get me some food and a new camera. I did not know that Princess Bubbles before long. Amazon will. Yeah, Amazon. Yeah. I mean, what is it? What is the point of owning everything? It's like, I want to die the richest. It's like all these old guys like, Jeff Bezos isn't that old, but Rupert Murdoch, he's in his 80s. What is he just, he just wants to be filthy rich when he dies, right? He's like, he's not going to be here forever. I don't know. And he's going to get even richer now because he's selling off this huge chunk of Fox movies over to either ABC or Comcast or Disney or Comcast. And he's just going to have so much money. He'll be so wealthy. How much money do you need? It was very interesting. Caravan's RV Life today talking about, how being rich can be a curse. And I think she's right. I really do think she's right. You need enough to live on. You need enough to be comfortable. But beyond that, it's just numbers, It's numbers, baby. Amazon, your one-stop shop. I let my Amazon thing, I let that go away. I don't even have it anymore. I don't know. I was spending too much money buying junk on Amazon that I didn't need. I just, forget it. And I save my money. It's like, it's too easy. It's just too easy. Please answer my question, Christine. I didn't see it. Let me see. What was your question? What was your question? Okay. If the FCC et al. Is corrupt, how can you prove it? And if it can be proven, then what recourse may be taken? Well, for example, the head of the FCC right now is a guy named Ajit Pai. Okay, he's a conservative. He's good buddies with David Smith, who owns Sinclair. Okay, and there you can't prove the corruption, but they're buddies, and he's making the FCC very favorable so that Mr. Smith and at Sinclair can keep getting bigger and bigger and more stations and everything else. Okay, it's not the kind of corruption that you will, go to jail kind of corruption, but it's collusion. It's, wink, wink, making regulations that are favorable to your friends and buddies in the broadcasting business. And it's that kind of thing. Okay. What can we do about it? It's sad. There isn't a heck of a lot we can do about it, other than, again, whichever, look, Obama was president for 8 years, and the FCC, even though I tended to, and the FCC was still a mess under Obama, and it's still a mess under Trump. I don't know. It's kind of, there's so much wrong with the government that I almost think it's beyond fixing, at least in an easy basis, by any president. I just don't know. I think the thing is, the one thing we want is as much competition as possible. We want as many companies to be involved as possible. Competition is good, okay? And as long as there's, if we have 10 companies owning the top cable networks, that's better than having 3 companies. Or the same thing with television and radio stations. The more companies, the better. Okay. And the problem is that everything's going in the wrong direction right now to fewer and fewer companies. We're now at a point where basically 3 companies own radio stations that have, 90% of the listeners, and that's not right. That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. With net neutrality going away, unless you want to experience data slowdowns, you're going to have to pay more. Yeah. The one thing, confront your politicians is always good. It's slow. The federal government is a giant bureaucracy, and whatever changes you make, it's going to take forever. Net neutrality basically is going to allow companies like Comcast and AT&T and Verizon to set up different channels of service. They're basically, if you want YouTube, you like to watch YouTube, right? Okay, well, how about you pay us an extra $50 a month, that we'll put you on a fast track to YouTube. Okay, well, they can do that now. They can do that with Netflix. They can just slow everything down, and then you try to watch Netflix and it's buffering constantly, and you call up your cable company and you say, hey, my I'm getting a lot of buffering on Netflix. They'll go, oh, well, you pay us an extra $100 a month and we'll put you on the Netflix fast track where you'll get Netflix super fast. Well, what's your alternative? They can now do that, channelize and segment the internet, and that's what's going to go on. They're not going to block channels, but they're going to make everything so that they can, put you in the fast lane. This network's in the fast lane. This is in the slow lane, and they can now do that throttling. Exactly right, Ferd. They can throttle things legally and do that, and it's not going to be nice. It's going to be nasty. And it's not to block anybody. It's for them to make more money off you. And basically, that's what the FCC says. It's just free market. It's a free market. Let anybody do what they want. If they want to throttle channels and charge extra for more things, what the heck? I don't know. It's getting kind of crazy. Yeah, it's exactly right. Robert California. Who's that? What was that? Robert California. He was in the last, what's his name? The guy in The Office, right? He was the guy who took over The Office after Robert California. What's his name? I can't. What's the guy? The Office, yeah, and he was paid by James Spader. Yeah, he was kind of like an airhead. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah, Robert California. I like The Office. I think it ran a season or two too long, but it was pretty funny. Uh, James Spader, right, right. Dial-up speeds. Yeah, that's exactly right. You want YouTube $10 a month. You want new YouTube and Netflix eight. It's gonna be more than that. Okay, it's not gonna be $10 a month. It's gonna be $100 a month. You want YouTube and Netflix? It's gonna be $125 a month. When I had Comcast back when I was living in the apartment in the condo, I was paying close to $100 a month for a decent internet plan, and it was still buffering a lot. $100 a month. And it's nasty. Well, there you go. A RV travels, and they could do that with HBO. They could say, okay, if you want HBO and you want it non-buffered and all that, you got to go and have AT&T, as your provider. And they could say, okay, now to Verizon and to everybody else, we're going to throttle it. So they could do that. And so that would force more people. Oh, I like HBO, and I can include it now with my cell plan, and I can watch it on my devices, nice and fast, and it's super fast content, no buffering. But I can only do that with AT&T now. So yeah, it's always like that. It's just going to get worse and worse like that, and I don't think that's a good thing. It's going to make it. It's going to be a mess. Gonna be a mess. Gonna be a mess. Won't the old ladies just love that? Anyway, what else is going on today, huh? Other big news. There was a very interesting. I wanted to do a shout out to a very interesting a channel. The Beam News. Casey Neistat. Casey Neistat started this company called Beam, and then he sold it to CNN, and then he does these wonderful talk on Beam News, BEMENEWS. They have 280,000 subscribers. I highly recommend you go there and watch Lou. It's not Lou Skunt. It's another Lou. But he does a lot of really good analysis things. And there's one called Facebook Knows You Don't Care About Privacy. Okay. It's called Facebook. It's from May. So it's only 2 months old, 3 months old. But go back and watch that. Facebook Knows You Don't Care About Privacy. Beam News, BEMENEWS. Highly recommend it, okay? And it basically says, everybody says they care about their privacy, but then when they're presented with these long terms of service things that are 20 pages long, nobody reads them. Everybody just, okay. People don't really care about their privacy. They say they do. Facebook knows. It's so nebulous. Nobody can understand it, and nobody really cares about it. And I have my philosophy is this. There are so many people on Facebook. Why is anybody going to give a rat's ass about my data, right? Who cares about Dave's data? I'm just one of Facebook's, 100 million people. What are they going to do with my data? So anyway, it's very interesting. Anyway, watch that. It's Beamy News, BEME News. A guy named Lou. Very good stuff from Lou. Everything Lou says is pretty cool. Facebook Knows You Don't Care About Privacy. Casey Neistat made a bundle off a Beam without lifting a finger. I don't know. I don't know about Casey's whole thing. He sold Beam to CNN, and then he got out of it, and I don't know. But whatever it is, I really like Beam right now. The guy Lou is really brilliant. He has some really good things about technology and the current state of things. Highly recommend it. Lou on Beam. Lou on Beam. Oh, yeah. The NSA cares about everybody's data. All these people got those little digital assistant things, hey, Google, those things can listen to you. Whatever, they can. Somebody could be listening to whatever you're saying. You got this little device in the corner of your room, and it's supposed to only be activated when you do the keyword, you know. But who's to say they're not sitting there listening to everything you say? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, it's a crazy world. Mm, mm, mm. Oh, I'm sorry. Craig said, I'm going to get some more tea, okay? I need some more tea to put in my thing here, or else I'm going to be doing this. So I will put, how can I do this? I'm going to put Crotchy here for a second. Hi, everybody, it's Crotchy. Look at me. Look at me. You go look at Crotchy for a second. I'm going to go refill my tea. I will be back in 30 seconds. Hey, I'm back. Did we lose anybody? Ugh. Hey, New Nomadic, how are you? How are you doing? Everybody doing good today? Anyway, that's weird. I said, hey, Google, and the device in the other room just responded to me. There's a hey, Google in the other room, and I said, hey, it can hear me here. Googly creepy. No, Dave didn't sit on my. I don't have a. Hi, everybody. How are you doing? Hi, Princess Bubbles. How's everything going? Oh, yeah. Hi, Robert, California, Bubba. Hi, Ferd. Hi, Dawn. Hi. How are you? Yeah, I love being a puppet. I'm great. That's wonderful. Yeah, Dave treats me wonderfully. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was weird. Yeah, that was really weird. It heard me. It heard me over here, even though it's like way over in the next room. And it said, I'm still listening. Are you going to say something? Holy cow, that was freaky. I'm like, I hear somebody in the other room. There's not supposed to be anybody else here. Unless Tank's talking. Uh, they hear us everywhere. That was creepy. Yeah, it actually heard me all the way over here. Did Crotchy say something to it? Maybe he did. Anyway, so this is my I don't know how much longer I'm going to go here. We're an hour and 4 minutes. Dave Hughes, News and Views. I'm pretty sure this video will not be monetized because we did mention Hitler a few times, not in a favorable way. Hitler is bad, horrible man, but his buddy Himmler, his daughter just died, and Himmler Miss Gottrung. Died at 88. So that was some of the news anyway. My puppet is bugged. Yeah, I don't know, man. Tank's not well today. Tank is very, let's say, he's very sluggish, and he threw up a couple times. I took him out for a walk this afternoon, and then he just sat down. He just doesn't usually do that. He was like sat down, and then he started to go, ooh, ooh, and then he threw up a couple times. I don't know. It's something yellow. It's like a mustard colored yellow crud. I don't know what he ate. I have no idea. Yeah, I haven't given him any food to eat today, so I don't know. Demonetized for saying Hitler is crazy. That's like saying the ad revenue from newspapers for mentioning. Yeah, I know. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if this video gets demonetized because of that, though, because the bot listens for certain words. Oh yeah, it's hot. Tell Google to walk Tank. I haven't been eating at Subway. I went to Firehouse the other day. I like Firehouse. Actually, it's very good. I like Firehouse. It is weird though. You do see a lot of firemen and cops. Yeah, you see quite a lot of firemen and cops. I guess they give them a discount for coming in there. I don't know. White rice and boiled chicken for Tank, and not. I did give. Okay, I did give him. The ladies left some chicken for him. Maybe I don't know. Maybe that didn't agree with him. I don't know. Anyway, all right. What other news is happening? Trump officials slash grants that help customers get Obamacare. Cuts them more than 80%. Wow. I don't know. They got to be careful, I don't know. New York City's mayor, Bill de Blasio, vows to eradicate lead from the city's housing. Governor Cuomo, New York. Which Cuomo is that? I get all the Cuomos mixed up. Whoever the governor of New York is. That's the guy who I think is going to run against Trump in 2020. I don't know, Is that Andrew, or governor of NY is Andrew Cuomo. Wouldn't be surprised if Andrew Cuomo is the person who runs against Trump in 2020. It'll be interesting to see. Okay, I'm trying to figure out who's going to run against him. It's already, the campaign's going to be getting into full swing next year, and we still don't have a Democrat who's going to see is going to Bernie, Hillary, Biden. I don't think so. I think it's going to be somebody like Andrew Cuomo. I really do think so. We'll see. You heard it here first. Our healthcare system is a damn mess, and it is a horrible mess. Totally agree with you, Blind Views. And it ain't getting any better either. And the thing that gets me angry, I guess, is the fact that you look at some of these prescription drugs, $200,000 for a year. I mean, some of these drugs, that are fairly common, like Lipitor and statins and stuff like that, they're running like, upper hundreds to $1,000 a month, or it's some of them are getting very out of. It's just going crazy. Jimmy John subs, real good. Use Italian lunch meat and cheese, not pepperoni. Yeah, Craig was saying how what's a real Italian sub? You don't put mayo on a real Italian sub, do you? Damn it! And I think apparently Firehouse likes to put mayo on everything. They have that Duke's mayo, right? I think Andrew Cuomo. Yeah, I really do. I think I think Andrew Cuomo, would he be I think he's going to be about the best the Democrats would have to offer. He's tough. He could probably take a lot of the criticism. He's probably not a perfect candidate, much like Trump, but I think he would be able to position himself as aggressive against Trump as anybody in the Democratic Party right now, unless somebody else comes to view, but I don't see anybody, Who knows? Who knows? My wife's med went from $36 to $860 in a month, Blind News writes. Totally. Yeah. I hear that all over the place. One of my friends has diabetes and her meds went through the roof. That EpiPen thing, that hear that right and left. Neurontin is a very popular drug. I think I know some people that are on that. The prices of that have gone up like 5, 6, 700%. So yeah, I don't know. RV homesteader. Usually dogs eat their own fecal and are lacking some minerals or have had a bad puppyhood. Ugh, ugh, ugh. Please don't mention Bill Big Bird de Blasio. No, I don't think de Blasio's going to run. I think it's going to be Andrew Cuomo. I think it's the governor. Victova for diabetes, $660 per month. I know. That's insane. Ain't it? It's just insane, Sunny Girl writes. Yeah. Oh my word. And they were saying, I was reading in the paper, I think it was the New York Times, they were saying that some of those drugs that cost like $200,000 a year are only marginally, if anything, better than the drugs that are much cheaper, the older drugs. In fact, there's some drugs that they can't even prove are any better. But, if your doctor recommends it, what do? Argue with them? Yeah. Do you ever go to a doctor? And you see this lady sitting in the waiting room, all dressed up, business attire, perfectly looking, and she has a little briefcase with her. And you look over and you go, she can't be a patient. She isn't. She's a representative from a drug company, and she will go in and meet with a doctor, and they make a deal, hey, if you prescribe this drug for so many dollars or for so many units, we'll send you to the Alps for a big vacation or something like that. It's all corrupt. Insurance will pay for it after you pay the first $2,300, and then again, insurance. What does that do? Then they raise everybody's insurance rates. I mean, it's insurance will pay it, but it's you, the consumer, you, the medical consumer, one way or the other, are going to be the loser. Just embrace your diabetes with no meds. Well, a lot of diabetes in America, the onset, you can reduce it significantly by, watching your diet and exercising and doing all that. But there are some people, especially with the type 1 diabetes, if you've got that, it's you've got to have the meds. That's just the way it is. It's a business now. Yeah, I know. It's quite sad. It's quite sad. And then you put people, wealthy people can afford the drugs, not so wealthy people can't. And I've heard of people doing that. I've heard of people that are, they can't afford their medication. So they'll cut the pills in half so that they last twice as long, but that's not necessarily a good thing to be taken half dosage, It's really crazy. Take a pill for a hangnail that gives you kidney failure. No worries. We will give you a pill for that. Yeah, I know it. And then you read, do you ever watch the evening news? Oh Lord, about halfway through they start running the ads and they're all for drug companies, and then they all have to read off those lists of complications. If you are having thoughts of suicide, please contact authorities. Oh my goodness, it's a pill to, for back pain, but it causes you to have thoughts of suicide. I mean, I think I'd rather have the back pain. And some of those complications are worse than the original disease you're taking the pill for. And again, the FDA is the same thing as the FCC. It is run by people from the industry, okay? People from the large drug companies come in and staff the FCC, okay? That's who runs, or the FDA. That's who runs it. It's regulation by the regulated. And the whole system of that is all crazy. It's just nuts. It's the same thing with the Federal Communications Commission. It's being regulated by the radio station companies that it's regulating, and it's all corrupt. It's just a corrupt system. you know? And I don't think any president can get above that. There is so much bureaucracy in the federal government today. You know, it's just beyond any particular president to even make a significant dent in it. The system is so entrenched. Many medicines, yeah, exactly right, Mr. Breeze. Many medicines cause side effects and you need more meds. If you are dead, that will take the back pain away. Well, or you just, you know, self medicate, right? I don't know. Alcohol, marijuana, buy some pills from a high school kid. I don't know. A lot of people do that these days, and it's sad, you know. The loons are running the asylum. I totally agree with you. You know, it is such a mess that it is. I think it honestly is to the point where it's so messed up that it's beyond the fixing of any particular politician. It's that bad. Yeah, we have the illusion of choice and control. Dave, watch out. The drug companies have Russian agents working for them, like Evie. Tick, tick, tick. Anyway, yeah, so it's interesting. That's so we want to talk about. That's an interesting topic. Drug prices and our messed up healthcare system and all that. You know, I think that's very, very good there. Very good, interesting time. But then what time is it? Oh yeah, it's almost 3 o'clock. I do want to thank you all for watching. Yeah, it's getting kind of long in the tooth. I appreciate it. We didn't get a lot of viewers today, but somewhere in the 30s. I appreciate it. We had some good discussions today about some issues. There is no competition in medicine insurance, and for workers, company dictates what ins and outs you get, and you pay. If your employer told you that regarding car insurance, you would not settle for that. Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's so complicated too. People just can't understand it. It's just interesting. I do occasionally watch a guy named Dave Ramsey. He has a financial talk show on some of the radio stations. I don't agree with everything he says. He does have some religious ties. About a lot of things where, especially with credit card companies, with mortgage companies, people are really getting ripped off and they don't know it. They're getting ripped off royally. You know, and people just making horrible mistakes. And these credit card companies and mortgage companies and banks, they all have you analyzed. And big pharma, they know how people think, and they're preying on all your weaknesses, and people are trying to do the right thing, but these companies are kind of nasty and they're kind of way ahead of everything. So interesting. Watch some of his stuff. He's got some good stuff. He's all over. He's got a YouTube channel with 2 billion subscribers, but I do like some of his stuff. Thank you, Dawn. Love you and Camo Dave and Crotchy and Tank and Cringy and Mr. Screwball too. All my cast of characters. I need to get a black baseball cap, with the what line screw wears. Carolyn has a wrench. I don't know. I have very few wrenches. I'm not like Mark Van Jones, where everybody that comes to visit his chat has a wrench. Love you, Screwball. Aww. Any cute. It's all about. It's all a boot. He's our Canadian reporter. Any other news in Canada? It's all about British Columbia. Everybody's in British Columbia. Oh, the big story in Vancouver. Yeah, all the nomads taking up all the parking spaces and parking there. A lot of them are Americans parking in areas of the city where a lot of millionaires live and dumping their poop on the sidewalk. What? The self-dest. Well, Craig, you can go. Go to. Craig's got to go back to Jimmy John's and get another sub. Carolyn did not say a boot. I know. It was a joke. It sounded like it. She's taking on a Canadian affectation. Totally Kathy! How you doing? All right. Who else? Done working. We do a shout out to all the new people that have just joined us. Totally Kathy. You're at the very end, man. I'm just about to say adios to everybody. So, but you know, you can watch the replay in a little while. I don't know. I don't know. I should just do a chat all day. I'll just sit here all day. Huh? No, you're exposing. Thanks for 2 hours of thought-filled conversation. See you next time. Well, it's not quite been 2 hours. It seems like 2 hours, but it's only been an hour and 20 minutes. But hey, thank you so much. Yeah, everybody, thanks for coming by. Again, Wednesdays at 1:30 Eastern Time. News and Views with Dave Hughes. I don't know. Maybe I'll move this to the evening one of these days. I don't know. I mean, you know, probably more people can watch. Maybe like do it in the evening. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But I'll just have, whatever. Ah! So anyway, if news happens, if news breaks, we fix it. All right, folks. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. Let's see if I can figure this out here. There we go. End stream. Vlog. Or no, what is it called? Camo chat. Oh, not yet. Let's do not yet. Got to make the last minute. Super chat. Super chat. Anybody want to throw any more super chats in? I'll let it go for 60 more seconds. You want to throw a super chat in and say hello. Bye, Crotchy. Crotchy needs, what do you need, Crotchy? What do you need? I need a new gimbal. I don't even know what a gimbal is, but I need a new gimbal, damn it. Buy me a gimbal, please, please. A gimbal. Ah! How you doing, everybody? Hi, Cassie. Cringy says hello. He's out in the car. He likes being out in the car. Cringy says hello. He misses his mommy. Crotchy needs a new codpiece. East Coast Adventurous. All right. Entertain me. Living free. Is he here? Is Mikey here? Born free and living free. Anyway. Adam the Voo. Is Adam the Woo here? Lou? Black Bigot and the Swedes are all live. Okay. All right, everybody. Gotta go. Gotta go watch Black Bigot. He's got some van problems going on. Let's see what's going on with him. He bought a piece of crap van that's falling apart already. All righty, folks. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to not wear any underwear. Don't forget to go to fuzzface1z.com. Thanks for being here.